There's power in your pain. How do I know that? Well, you may be wondering why I'm in bed right now. And the answer is that I've been in bed for nearly a month, unable to move, in a lot of pain. I suffer from multiple herniated discs. This was an old CrossFit injury that happened to me a little over 10 years ago. I did everything I could in my power to avoid surgery. Chiropractic work, yoga, needling, stem cells, cupping, acupuncture, you name it, I've done it. I did everything. And the flare-ups were manageable. The pain would come in waves every 3 to 4 months, and it would be debilitating for a week, maybe 2. But I found a way to work around my flaw and my limitation, my disability, if you will. It's not normal to be in pain all the time. It's not how it's supposed to be. Yet some of us are in pain so long that it becomes normal. It becomes a part of us. And that's what it became for me, is my pain became a part of who I was. It was a part of my identity. It was just something I dealt with. I have back pain. I can't lift certain things. I can't race cars anymore. I can't ride motorcycles. I can't do these things that I love to do. What started as an injury became an identity, became a disability that lasted for over 10 years, almost 11 years. And it became a part of who I was. Not just something that had happened to me that I'd overcome, but a part of who I currently am. And so I've learned a lot of lessons as I've been here in bed. I've tried to get up every once in a while, and I'll get to that in a moment. I went to the surgeon today, and I got some really interesting information. But I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot since I've been sitting here in bed for multiple weeks. One of the biggest lessons came to me today. Since I've been in bed here, I've begun keeping track of some of the names of people who've reached out to me. Those who came in person, those who called me on the phone and regularly checked in, and those who simply sent me a message, but they were intentional about it. Not just praying for you, but something beyond that, something like checking in. How are you? Is there anything I can do for you? I'm in the neighborhood. I'm stopping by. And what I realized is there were, at this current point in time, 10 people who have regularly reached out to me, checking in on how I'm doing, bringing me food, bringing me desserts that I shouldn't have, ice cream and popcorn and everything that I love, and helping me, genuinely helping, bringing me supplements, bringing me all types of things. And it made me think, I run a successful business. Thank God I'm in a position where the business has been delegated enough to where I don't have to be there in order for it to operate. And it's currently paying for my rent. I don't have to worry. It's paying for the salaries. It's covering my monthly expenses. But part of building that business was me working endlessly, hours upon hours and hours with no rest for the last 2 to 2.5 years, and spending all of my attention with people who are not here right now. And to emphasize that a little further, I've spent nearly 90 to 99%, arguably closer to 99% of my time invested in individuals who haven't called me, who haven't texted me, they haven't reached out, they might not even know, and I don't blame them for that. Perhaps if more people knew, although I've posted on my story, of which nearly 10,000 people have seen, I've invested so much time and energy into building relationships with professional athletes, with celebrities, with influencers with tens of millions of followers, coaches, entrepreneurs, business leaders, thought leaders in the podcasting space as I've built this enterprise, this media company. And where are they? None of them are here. And as I look through and I examine this list of individuals who've reached out, I've realized that it's a list of names of individuals that I've invested that remaining 1 to 10% max of my time, my energy, and my attention. And it's really interesting to me. We're in a moment right now in time where our attention is the new currency, and we give it out so freely. But are we investing that same intensity of attention and time into the people who matter most? And unfortunately, you think people matter until you're put in a position where those people have to step up and they don't. And you have a choice to make. Either one, you can become jaded, resentful, conceited. You can begin hating those individuals because they didn't show up for you. Or you can take it as a lesson and realize that in this moment, I've been given a gift, thank God, at 33 years old, that I can learn now that I don't have to deal with later. And that is, the people who matter most will show up They will invest the time. They will be present. They will go above and beyond because they care. And those are the ones who deserve your attention. And outside of the work and the business, because we have to eat, I understand, we got to put attention somewhere. But are you putting 1% energy into the 1% who truly matter? Are you putting 99% of your energy into the 99% of people who will never show up, not even think of you when you're injured, when you're hurt, when your health is taken from you? This doesn't just go for relationships, although that's a huge component. This even goes for our possessions and these material things. I can't tell you how many tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars I have spent in watches and bags, clothes, cars, motorcycles, material possessions that I cannot even use because I am confined to this bed. I can't wear the fancy clothes. I can't put on the nice watches. I can't wear the bags out. Where am I gonna go? I'm stuck to my bed. I can't drive a car. I spent so much time, countless hours researching this beautiful Audi R8 that I wanted with a 6-speed gated manual transmission. How ironic is it that I refused to buy another car because it had to be that specific car with a gated 6-speed manual transmission. Ironically, my left leg is the one that I can't use anymore. It's crazy. And so the thing I spent so much time researching and looking for and scouring the internet for I can't even use it. I couldn't even use it if I wanted to because my left leg doesn't work. I have drop foot, and I'll get into some of these things that I've been told I have. But as we make our way through these lessons, that's my first two. Who are you spending your time with, and in what are you invested in materially? Because I can tell you that when your health is taken from you, you will sell everything you own to buy another day. You'll sell all the watches to pay for the surgery. You'll sell the cars, the motorcycles, all the things that you can't even use to not be in pain. When you are in agonizing, relentless, ruthless pain, you will sell anything and everything to make that pain stop because it's debilitating. There have been nights here throughout these past 4 weeks that I've sat here in agony throughout the night praying to God, God, if I have to live another day with this, kill me now. I cannot live another day with the pain this bad, yet I'm here another day. And why is that? Because God has something important that he's looking to do through this. And perhaps it's just me sitting here speaking in front of the camera, giving you my testimony. I don't know who's going to even watch this. But if you're here right now, I want to spin this on you and let you know that you're here for a specific reason because God's using your story and your testimony in order to impact the lives of others. And you may be in pain, and it might not be physical. Maybe it is. Maybe you're dealing with back pain like me, leg pain, hip pain, knee pain. Maybe you're dealing with something and it's limited you from doing the things that you love as well. Maybe you can't run anymore, and you can't walk, and you can't drive, and you can't go to the gym, and you can't hang out with friends, and you can't sit in a chair for more than 5 minutes because the pain is so severe. Maybe you can't drive. Maybe you can't ride bikes or motorcycles or race cars or do the fun things that you enjoy. Maybe you can't dance salsa and bachata and merengue. Maybe you can't do anything, but maybe your pain isn't physical. And if that's the case, I would urge you that the things that you're putting off, the things that you delay, you can do them because someone else somewhere is dying for the opportunity to be able to do that. I had a friend call me and he was like, man, I guess I'm going to go to the gym. I really don't want to go, but I got to go. I guess I'll go. And I was like, bro, do you understand what I would give right now to be able to go to the gym? And he stopped, and I knew that he finally understood what he just said to me. And he was like, oh man, you're right. Like, I have no excuse. Like, why would I not go to the gym, bro? I'm so sorry. You held up in bed and you haven't been able to leave in weeks, and I'm over here complaining about the gym. And I was like, it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's just something to be aware of. I wasn't even aware of it. I complain about things all the time that I take for granted. People would kill to be in this position, working with the people I do, doing the things that I'm doing. How many things do you take for granted on a daily basis? How many things have you been given an opportunity to do that others wish, dream that they could do? Gratitude goes a long way. The biggest lesson I've learned through this, besides who you're invested in and what you're invested in, is the importance of rest. Rest. As an entrepreneur, a man living in Miami, Florida, the idea of rest, what is that? The idea of balance, that doesn't exist in my life. And I've told myself stories for the longest time that I didn't realize until I sat here and I really thought about it. God's given me an opportunity to rest, and what have I done with that? I hate rest. I hated it for the longest time. The reason why I hate rest, as I've really sat here and contemplated on it, is I try to do something with my emotions when they come up, and I would urge you to do the same. When you have a strong feeling and emotion, whether it be fear, anger, resentment, confusion, When that fear comes up, instead of pushing it away like so many do, numbing it with sex, drugs, alcohol, binge watching, doom scrolling TikTok and Instagram, I want you to sit with that thought. I want you to sit with that feeling, and I want you to go deep into it. And as you go deep into that feeling, go back to the very first memory that you can recall, where that feeling first came up. And for me, as I did this exercise, and this is a wonderful exercise, I would encourage you to do that for an awareness and healing point of view. You can talk to a therapist later about how you're going to overcome that, but for an awareness piece, it's highly effective. I sat to myself and I said, why do I hate rest so much? What is it about rest that is so triggering for me? Why do I hate it? Why am I just constantly on the go? Why do I always have to be working, going, doing, consistently pushing, pursuing, making the move? Why? And I realized that there was a void that I was trying to fill, something that I had to show. There were a couple realizations. The first one was, I constantly have to go because I have to show my value. I have to show my worth. The second was that I associate rest with laziness. And the way that I came to that conclusion is that I did that exercise and I sat with myself and I said, why do I feel so angry when I have to rest and restless? Literally, I'll sit here in bed and toss and turn. Why? And I sat with that feeling and I realized it took me back to when I was a kid, and I was sitting on the couch and I was watching some TV after school, and I didn't do my homework. I was just probably one of the worst students. I just didn't care. And I was watching TV and my dad came home and he was like, you're always sitting around watching TV being a lazy piece of shit after work. Did you do your homework? And I'm like, no, I didn't do my homework. And he was just like, you're fucking lazy. You never do your homework. Like, what do I have to do to get you to do the things that you're supposed to do? You never do the right things. You never do what you're supposed to do. You're always hanging around with the wrong people. This, that, and the third. And so many things came up for me in that moment, just off of a very brief realization. And I realized that one of the reasons why I associate rest with laziness is because when I rested, it was because I was typically procrastinating. And I had an association of procrastinating with rest, and therefore I was being lazy. And I've always thought that if I'm resting, I'm being lazy. I have to go, I have to work, I have to do things, be productive, make money, constantly grind and hustle. Get rich or die trying. Hustle till you drop. It's like grind until you're dead. You can sleep when you're dead, right? We hear all these terms, these sayings, these quotes, and really what is it? It's a bunch of unhealthy people just grinding endlessly to buy things that they don't need, that are not going to help them when they're in pain, when everything's gone, in order to impress people that aren't going to be around when you're injured. Do you see this coming full circle? And so what I realized was that I'm constantly going, I'm constantly pushing, I'm constantly pursuing, sacrificing my health, sacrificing the relationships with the ones who care about me. Those 10 names that are on my phone of individuals who've reached out to me since I've been injured. I spend no time resting. I don't invest in the right people. Where is that coming from? And as I think about that, I realize it comes to an extent from trying to prove something that goes so deep, and that is the idea of being worthy. I'm not worthy. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. How does it feel when you hear those words? You're not good enough. You never do anything right. You just can't seem to get it right. Nobody likes you. What comes up for you when those things are said to you? I'll tell you what came up for me. Shame, anger, sadness, realizing that those things were said to me so many times when I was younger that they became a part of my identity. A part of my identity that when triggered, I didn't sit with, extract, and overcome by identifying it as a lie and replacing it with the truth, but I pushed away the feeling by pursuing and pushing and going harder and making more money and making more friendships and making more relationships and broadening my circle and being the class clown and then being the president of my fraternity and then being the business leader that I am today and the business owner, and that I have to own the #1 media company in Miami. And when I accomplished that, that wasn't good enough. Now I have to have the #1 media company in the country. And now that we've achieved that, that's not good enough. I have to be the #1 media company in the world. When does it end? When does it end? The truth of the matter is that it doesn't end. It never ends, because when you go through life with that mentality, the truth is you will never be good enough. You will never be liked enough. You will never make enough. The house will never be big enough. The car will never be fast enough. The toys will never be new enough. The girl will never be hot enough. The husband will never be jacked enough or tall enough or make enough. It'll never be enough because you've created an identity of not enough. And so as I sit here in this bed, I realize that this pain that I'm feeling was sent here as a blessing from God. There was a scripture I was reading where Paul was talking about how he was given a thorn in his side, a messenger from Satan sent to torment him. And he pleaded with God, and he begged God 3 times to take it away from him. And God responded, "My grace is sufficient for you." His power comes through our weakness. And instead of popping pills and taking a bunch of opioids and getting high as a kite and popping a bunch of weed gummies and trying to numb this pain, which I'm guilty as charged. I did that the first couple of weeks. This week I decided to do something different. And that different was I decided to sit with this pain. I decided to record this, something that I've been meaning to do and I've been putting it off since this happened. And as I sit here with this pain in reflection, I realize that this pain was sent for me because I never would have this realization. And God forbid I go through life, that you go through life, your entire life, and get to the very end and learn this lesson when you're on your deathbed. God forbid you get to the end of the road and now you learn that lesson about who was important, but it's too late. About what was important, but you don't have any more time. How bad do things have to get until you've met the end of the rope and you've decided to surrender the lies and overcome them with the truth that you are good enough, that there are people who care about you, that there's people who will stop everything they're doing to come to your aid. Oftentimes, they may be people that barely know you. Sometimes you may even find that the people who barely know you will show up for you faster, harder, and deeper than the people who have known you for years. And that's okay. But the point is, someone out there, somewhere, cares about you. And if you're going through something right now, something challenging, a pain, you're bedridden, you're in agony, whether it's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional, whatever you are fighting, whatever you are battling, you've been given an opportunity. This is a gift for you. There's something that you need to learn through this. There's something that I have to learn through this. And my story's not over yet. This injury's not over yet. I've got a long road ahead of me of recovery, of surgery. I haven't even gone into the details of what the surgeon said to me today, but that was pretty brutal. But this isn't about me. I turned on this camera today, and I'm telling you these things because God put it in my heart to share this with you. These are the things that I'm going through. These are the things that I'm learning. And whatever you're dealing with in life, understand that there's a lesson in it. God has made you for a purpose, on purpose, and there's a purpose to your pain. And if you'll take a moment to sit with that pain long enough, sit with it, get uncomfortable with it, get to know it, give it a name, ask it some questions. How long you been here? Where'd you come from? What do you want to teach me? What do I need to know? Why are you here? Get to know it. Sounds crazy. Give it a shot. You might just find that on the other side of that is a deeper calling, a deeper realization, a deeper purpose to your pain. Signing off. God bless. Have a good night wherever you are.